Hi listeners, Jenna here, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the podcast and listening to all of my great interviews that I've done so far. I hope to continue bringing you more amazing interviews with people that are right here in our community of Grand Prairie. But to do that, I need your help. If you love what I'm doing and want to see me do more, I want to offer you a chance to support the podcast financially by making a donation to our PayPal account, which is at the Faces of Grand Prairie. It goes to help me with editing software, recording platforms and equipment, and my time so that I can keep bringing you quality interviews with people from around our city. No donation is too small, and all are very much appreciated. Again, that's our PayPal account, which is at Faces of Grand Prairie. Thank you so much in advance, and on to the interview. Today, my guest is Matthew Loh, owner of Asia Times Square. Asia Times Square at Pioneer and Great Southwest has been in Grand Prairie for about 13 years, with Matthew leading its vision and mission. Matthew and I talk about his background before his family opened Asia Times Square, the value in overcoming adversity, and being passionate about your purpose. We talk about how much he values his relationships within Grand Prairie, within the city, the business community, and the police, and how impactful cultivating those relationships are when starting a business. He also talks about some of the upcoming events and some of his future expansion projects. Matthew was delightful, and I really enjoyed our conversation, and I know that you will as well. Here's Matthew Loh. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Jana. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You are known as a busy man.
Somewhat.
But you've been on my list of people that I've wanted to talk to for quite some time, and I'm really excited to be here. We're actually recording in Asia Times Square in your, I'm guessing, the business center.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It doesn't look like Walmart or Sam's Club anymore, right?
Well, it's funny the way that this building has transitioned. I said when I got here that I've come here, and every time I come back, it's something different. Like you've added on or you've grown something. So
yeah, and you know, as a business owner, and I treat all of our business tenants here as our business partners, because that's where our income come from. So their business is our business, and so constantly we're always trying to improve on our property and expanding. We've got a number of projects that I'm very excited about. Hopefully it'll be finished by the end of the year. Well,
cool. Well, we'll go back to that because I definitely want to talk about the businesses that are here and all that. But how did you come to, well, first of all, tell me about a little bit about you personally and your background. And
Sure. I'm Chinese, born in Vietnam, married to a Korean. I had two children. Their first language is English, second language is Spanish.
Where did they learn Spanish?
From school.
Oh, really? Okay.
From school, and then my daughter, of course, when she was a baby, she watched a lot of Dora the Explorer, and so and we are in Texas, right? You gotta learn a little Spanish, so
it's on my list of things to do.
Yeah, I hear you. And so I'm just very fortunate to be in Grand Prairie. I'm one of 6 siblings. We came to America we first landed in America in 1979.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were one of those boat people.
And how old were you? Not to age yourself.
Sure.
But
No, I'm okay. I was 6 years old, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, when I first came to America.
Wow, that's interesting. So how was your experience once you got here?
I was still a child.
Right.
I was just learning to adapt.
Did you come to Texas?
No, we got a lottery ticket. I always call it a lottery ticket. People keep on asking me how I came to America. It was a very long 2 years journey.
Really?
For my family to come to this great land of opportunities, and so very blessed, very fortunate to be in America. I call her Aunt Bonnie Manitra and Bill, Uncle Bill. They, along with church members, just decided to sponsor a family that they've never met.
Wow.
Don't even know how many of us or what our names are, how we look like, but they have a servant heart. They have a love for people, and it's just like I said, she's my angel. And so when we got that lottery ticket, we came to America in September of 1979. It was difficult. I'll be honest with you, because my dad having 6 kids with him.
I was going to ask you, did all of your siblings were they all here already?
Yeah,
okay.
we were very fortunate. We left as a family. We arrived as a family.
But no kids born in the United States once you got here, so y'all were all...
None of us were born in the U.S., but, you have to learn. Totally a new environment. Can't speak a word of English. We didn't have anything other than the clothes that we were born, and just adapt.
Wow.
And try to be accepted as American.
Now, are you oldest, youngest?
I am the youngest of 6.
Wow.
Yeah, youngest of 6. I was the last one to join the family business.
Wow. And what is your family business?
Well, at that time it was just a grocery store, right?
Okay.
Just Hong Kong Marketplace is our bread and butter. We started the very first grocery store in 1986 in Arlington.
Really?
Yeah, it's about 1,500 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we kind of grew from there thanks to the love and support from our community. We continued to grow. Now we have 2 Hong Kong Marketplace, about 40,000 square foot each. And this one at Asia Times Square, basically we used the Hong Kong market as the anchor for our real estate investment. And so it's been working out well.
Wow. So when you started, did you start in the real estate side of things? When did that happen, that you started in that?
So I was actually a mechanical engineer. I graduated UT Arlington with an ME degree. Worked for a company called Peerless Manufacturing. Worked for them for 6 years. Loved it. I was making progress. I got promoted to project manager. I traveled to Japan and Korea to talk about the project I've been working on and to train them how to operate our system. And my family business started to grow, but I just felt that it wasn't growing in the right direction or at the pace that I think it should be growing at. My dad always wanted to be a family business, and so I talked to him. I said, you know what, Dad, I've had the opportunity to become a professional engineer. I loved it. I still want to be one, but if you really want me to join the family business, you have to make sure that once I go in, I will start at the very bottom. Just that technical side of me. I would really want to know the entire system. But at the same time, you have to make pretty sure, I don't want to say it because it's public, but people will listen. So I told him, I said, you have to make me the highest paid cashier ever in the history of the United States. Once you can accomplish that, then I'll join the family business.
Oh my. Yeah. So how old were you when you came and did that full time?
Oh man, I believe I was 26, 27.
So you'd basically been raised in a family where entrepreneurship and business ownership was valuable and important. So how did that affect how you became an adult?
Oh man, I always tell, because I see the struggle that my dad went through and the courage and the bravery that he's shown to escape from communist Vietnam, right? To give up everything to come to America just to be able to have an opportunity to achieve the American dream. That meant a lot, and a lot of people always think, man, you're Asian, you must be really good at school and whatnot. I was horrible at school.
Were you?
At the very beginning. At the very beginning. And then I remember one day just having a conversation. I was probably in 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade. I just talked to my dad, and he was very encouraging, but he couldn't help me with my school or anything. But, just watching him do his thing. And I've always shared this with a lot of people that I talk to, especially students and my children as well. I think once I understand the 5 Ds that my dad taught me, once I really understand what that meant, my grade turned around, and I became one of the top, I want to say 3% of the students, not the number one, but I was up there.
Wow.
just because I understand what it takes. And so I'll share with you the 5 Ds.
I was going to say, yes, please do.
It always starts with the number one is desire. My dad always said, hey, know what you want and work at it. So desire followed by determination, dedication, devotion, and last one is discipline. Discipline is pretty hard.
We could make the entire podcast just about those 5 things. I mean, that's so true. It's so true. And to be a business owner anyway requires all those things because it is not easy. And people, I think, when you see that somebody is doing well, you know, you look around and you see this big, beautiful building and all these things. It's really hard for people that have never maybe developed anything from scratch to understand how much tenacity it takes to be able to do that.
Honestly, if you want to become a business owner, you have to just kind of accept that you don't have a job anymore. This is basically my lifestyle.
Right.
You know?
That's so very true. So, what was it was there any subject in particular that you enjoyed more than others as a student?
As a student, I guess the number one was probably math because there was no English writing in there. It's easier to 2 plus 2, right? It's universal. But as I grew, I started to love English. I think, to be honest with you, I got called out, and I forgot which, it was definitely in middle school where I was patronizing, there was an essay. My English was horrible at that time, I didn't know. I started to patronize, and the teacher even called me out in front of the student. You basically stay after the class and we'll talk about this. This is wrong, and it was very hurtful. But looking back, I think that moment was very, very important part of my life because I started to be able to write better. I forced myself to write better. I think I write better than I speak. But English is actually a very difficult language to learn.
You don't say.
Yeah.
There's so many rules, and then there's exceptions to the rules.
Yeah, and the language changes so often. I mean, bad used to be bad, but now bad is good. And, it's just.
The slang and all this stuff. Man, I can only imagine. Well, I would imagine that math or science had to have affected you to become an engineer.
Yeah. So when you did that aptitude test or whatever, they say I should be an engineer, and so I just went into engineering, and honestly, I was gonna go into electrical engineer. And then when I started talking to some classmates, they're saying, "Man, mechanical engineering is so hard," and I dropped out this, and I said, "Really?" So I just took a class in mechanical engineering, one of the courses, and I kind of liked it. Because mechanical engineering actually, we do a lot of different varieties. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to stick with mechanical engineering, graduate with mechanical engineering.
Wow.
So I did.
That's crazy. Well, I tell my daughter this all the time because I don't know that anybody has an aptitude. There's a few people that maybe start off in life really good at something, but I think for the most part, a lot of us really have to work at it. And so with her, she's 10, she's in the 4th grade, and I kind of can relate to your dad because I can't help her all that either, because they're doing things in the 4th grade that I don't remember doing in the 4th grade. But with me being a business owner myself, I do talk to her a lot about, okay, well, just because you're not good at something naturally doesn't mean that you can't get better and get good at it. You just have to work harder. And that was a lesson that took me a long time, because when you're really, good at certain parts of being a student, like I was always really good at writing. Well, that got me out of having to study a lot because I could write my way out of it when I didn't really know things. And it took me a lot longer to understand the value of like studying and doing what you're supposed to do. So I try to teach her now, don't tell yourself you're bad at math, because you will be bad at math. Tell yourself that you will learn how to be better at math. And I think that's it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, I mean, just work at it, know what your weaknesses are, and continue to work at it and improve on it. I try to not to express to my kid too much of negativity. Just as long as you continue to improve, that's all that matters. And
finding out a way to motivate them as kids to keep to keep pushing themselves into what they don't know. Because it can be really easy to settle into mediocrity. And, I passed, it's fine. No, you can do better, you know, and that's hard to teach.
It is extremely hard. I hear you.
So are all of your siblings still in the family business?
Yep.
Okay.
All of us are in this family business. We all kind of went our own way. Unfortunately, I was the only one. I think my sister and then my third brother were the fortunate one, I would say, to actually went to college and got a degree and whatnot. My sister has a degree in accounting. My other brother had a degree in electrical engineer. And then the other three brothers, they sacrificed along with my dad to work, put food on the table, and give me and my other siblings an opportunity to get a higher education. And, we kind of came back and worked with our father and learned from him. And, my mom is unbelievable. I think she instilled in all of us that loving, giving heart that kind of motivate us in trying to be better citizens of the United States. And so, we're still working together. But trust me, at times we go head to head on many issues, and you have to, right? And I think I love that because that actually makes us better as business owners.
Oh, 100%. I can imagine. So, like I was talking to, I was telling you I talked to Martin over at Bon Air, and I've talked to Emily over at, for GPISD, and we were talking about the skilled trades, and I was thinking about electrical engineering and how kids are learning in school right now how to do things like that, which is so valuable.
Absolutely.
I imagine that your brother does a lot of work around here.
Yeah. I think GPISD and the CTE department is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The opportunities that they're giving to children nowadays is just something that we didn't have growing up.
Right.
And so, man, I can't say enough good things about Dr. Ellis and the late superintendent Susan, what they've done for GPISD.
Well, that brings us to so of all the places that you could have started this, why Grand Prairie?
That's interesting. Yeah. So my family first started the grocery store in Arlington, and we grew in Arlington. I went to Hutchinson Junior High School, graduated at St. Houston High School, graduated at UT Arlington. So, Arlington is a big part of my life. But when we saw an opportunity that Walmart and Sam's Club.
And I'll stop you right there and just ask, Arlington has a very large Asian business community.
Yes, more so than in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
More so than in Grand Prairie. But, we had a business partner in Arlington, the shopping center that we used to have off of Pioneer in New York. We wanted to upgrade. Like I said, once I came back to a family, there are a lot of changes that I think we can improve on. And one of them is to upgrade the facility and whatnot. And the business partner at that time didn't want to spend the money. And then we found the Walmart and the Sam's Club that were vacant. Dark boxes here at Great Southwest and Pioneer.
I totally forgot that used to be this.
Yeah.
You mentioned that earlier, and I forgot that was here.
And so we purchased the building. I was still a very young age at that time. I don't know what happened. I just got the nerve. I said, you know what? I'm gonna schedule a meeting. I'm gonna go and talk to economic development and talk to city council and mayor. And I remember that first day I went and they introduced me in the meeting room. Mayor England was there, and at that time it was Councilman Von Jensen and Greg Kessler was there as well, Chin Swafford. And I just went there and introduced myself, said, hey, this is what we're trying to do, and love to partner with the city and see what the city and Asia Times Square can do something special together. And here we are.
So how long ago was that?
I would say about 13 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 13, 14 years ago.
So you just basically started just with the building that you already had in existence, and then you grew around it, or did you take that building down?
No, so the two vacant buildings we bought, right? We bought the Walmart building first. There was nothing in there. Then once we were able to work with the city, then we slowly to move out of Arlington and into Grand Prairie. And we worked on that Walmart building first, where the grocery store is. And then 6 years later, we bought this building and started building more and more. And so we've got a number of the projects. Like you said, when you came in, there was a big mess right next to the gas station. It's not a swimming pool. It's not a big swimming pool, but in order to go vertical, you have to dig first. And so that's what we're doing. We're adding a new 11,000 square feet building.
Really? What's that going to be for?
Oh, well, more restaurant, hopefully. I know we signed up one tenant. It's a franchise, a very popular coffee shop. It's called Seven Leaves. Very popular. It's like the Asian Starbucks, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yes.
So have you found a lot of success with people? Like, I would imagine that there's a large need for something like this. Have you found a lot of people that have really flocked to what you're offering?
Yes, the struggle we have at Asia Town Square is that the Asian population is not where we want it to be still. But I think what we offer, we're able to bring a lot of customers from Arlington, Irving, Fort Worth, Dallas, and whatnot. They do come here, and when we host an event, we get people from out of state that come to visit Asia Town Square. I think we are a specialty mall. I would say we offer a lot of stuff that you can't find at your local Kroger's and whatnot, you know.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said mall, because that's really what it kind of feels like when you're inside. And I don't know that people that drive by and have never been inside really know everything that's in here.
Right.
I know that I didn't. Whenever I came, because y'all have a ballroom, and that's where we came to the Children First little lunch of hope one time. And that was the first time to be inside of here. And then I came for Lunar New Year one year. I feel like it was right before the pandemic.
Right.
And then I came to another one. But if you come inside, I didn't realize there were stores. I didn't realize now there's a food court, which is that new?
Well, we have a food court in the other building, the Hong Kong building, but we recently opened up another food court on this side. A little more upscale food court, add more flavors, more trendy flavors, I would say. Try to target more of the younger crowd, and it's been doing very well. So
when you say Asia Times Square, what cultures do you have here?
So obviously we have food-wise, we've got Filipinos, Thai, Laos, Cambodian, Vietnamese, Chinese. We've got a Mongolian hot pot out there, which is also Chinese. Like Vietnamese sandwich. I don't know if you ever ate a Vietnamese. Banh mi number one up there is probably one of the best Vietnamese sandwich you ever had.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's you go in there and you just select the meat you want, the vegetable. The bread is made fresh. It's just really good.
Oh, I'll have to try that. That was my goal. I wanted to eat before I left. Even if I have to come back for lunch or whatever.
Yeah, we have Asian, vegetarian kitchen. So we've got a number of different varieties. Korean, Japanese. Beard Papa is like my favorite right now. It's my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And my wife, she bought me a stationary bike after we had the opening of the food court, because she know how much I'll be eating all that.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's like those Peloton ads, you know, where the husband bought it for the wife, but she bought it for you.
She bought it for me.
That's hilarious. So, but you know, one of the things I think is really cool, having lived in Grand Prairie my whole life, is this is a side of a culture that I'd never been exposed to. So when I got to come to like Lunar New Year, it was very interesting. And, you know, for that celebration, there's a lot of things that go on. It's not just one thing. It's like there's different events and different things that happen. And one of the things at the event that I was there was a variety of dance troupes that came through. And I got to hear a little bit more about the differences in each one. And, you know, I feel like that is such a cool exposure to something that we never would have known. So is that like y'all's biggest event every year?
Yeah, I'd say the Lunar New Year is the biggest holiday in the Asian community. And so it's the only event that we celebrate for 2 to 3 weekends long.
Wow.
Yeah, back home it's almost a month long.
Really?
Like business will shut down for a whole month just to celebrate the New Year.
Really?
Yes.
Like business shut down?
Yes, business shut down. Now they only shut down for a week.
So what is now? They're like, no, that's too much money that we're missing out on. So what makes it so special that it's that long of a celebration?
Well, the Lunar New Year is just a celebrating a new beginning, start out fresh, and.
Well, when is the new Lunar New Year?
Okay.
To start off.
So the Lunar New Year always changes. So every year is different because we follow the lunar calendar, the moon, right? So what's unique about that is that even my birthday is changed all the time. As an Asian here, many Asians, Asian-born, U.S. citizen, we celebrate 2 birthdays.
Really?
Oh yeah, I have my own American birthday. When I came here, and then my mom would call me up, "Hey, today's your lunar birthday."
Wow.
And so I get to, get 2 gifts.
That's crazy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, being Asian American here is pretty cool because we celebrate so many holidays.
I was going to say, you have businesses that shut down for a month, and then you get 2 birthdays that you get to celebrate. So when the Lunar New Year, the lunar calendar, how does it go?
Yeah, it's I'm still learning myself.
Really?
Because some year, you know how we have leap year where February have 29 days every 4 years. Well, I have to double check. But there are, I want to say every 4 years or so, again, don't quote me on this, there will be 13 months in a year.
That's when y'all celebrate for a month.
That
for
is crazy, right? Like there will be 2 September in a certain year.
So you go by the regular calendar.
In U.S., we go by the regular calendar. The lunar calendar is just when we celebrate our holidays. And so some year we will celebrate the Lunar New Year in January, some year will be in February, some year will be in March.
And when was it this year?
This last year was February 20-something, I forgot.
Gotcha.
February something, yeah.
That explains why, that makes a lot of sense.
So next year it might be early February.
Really?
Yeah.
So who decides that?
It's the lunar calendar.
So y'all just all have that in
India. A calendar we follow by.
So that kind of, when I pulled in, one of the things that had changed was the plaza when you in the parking lot, because y'all took out a whole part of the parking lot and you built in like a walkway, really nice, pretty walkway, and then you have a beautiful clock out there. So, and you talked about this on your on the NBC segment a little bit, but tell me more about that because that's really cool.
Yeah, so earlier you talked about us having events and whatnot. It's very important for Asia Town Square. Our number one goal has always been the bottom line, making money for our business partners and whatnot. But as we also came up with a mission statement, which is preserving tradition, promoting culture. That's why we have so many events. And when we have events, we want to include different ethnic groups to come and participate. We're all about inclusivity, And then just 2 years ago, we actually we had a vision statement. It takes a long time. A vision statement is something that's, big. You really have to dig deep and try to figure out what you want. And so we came up with a vision statement to become the destination connecting cultures and communities.
Wow.
And we're working towards that. I think it's very important now because of the what our nation is going through.
Absolutely.
It's just it's unfortunate, but it's just something that our nations will work through and improve on. And so I think those vision and mission statement will help us get us there. The clock, my dad passed away 4 years ago, and I learned a lot from my dad. And that's once he passed away, I created the Loh Foundation. And the Loh Foundation mission is to spread love, provide opportunity, and giving hope to all.
Wow.
LOH, love, opportunity, and hope. And I just want to make sure that every time I come to Asia Town Square, that I see that message, and I want to share that message. I think that message is a good message, a beautiful message that everyone should be doing on a regular basis.
100%. And when I say a clock, it's not just a clock hanging on a wall. Like this is like a big. Now, did your mechanical engineering background have anything to do with that?
Well, Well, I can tell you it's not, it's definitely not your typical clock. It's a 24-hour outdoor clock. I don't think there's a 24-hour outdoor clock. I Googled, I couldn't find it. And if there were, it's not this size. Ours is pretty massive. And so the clock also has zodiac signs on there. And it has 12 zodiac signs. Each year, one cycle of the lunar calendar is 12 zodiac signs. And the first sign is the rat, right? Followed by ox and whatnot. But a lot of people don't know. Even my Asian friend, born in Vietnam or born in China, they don't even realize that certain hours of the day, 2 hours of the day, actually signifies certain zodiac sign. And so that clock out there is, I always call it an educational piece of art.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even, that's such a cool thing to do. And it's a statement piece, number one. It's beautiful and it adds a lot to it. But to be able to teach about something like that, God, that means a great deal. Because when you have people that come in here, that is a very cool thing for them to see. You know?
I'm very proud of that project. Again, I just want to continue what my dad taught us. Continue his legacy, and that clock is a reminder that we still need to continue to work at it.
When I talked to Greg Eisner, they were talking about Pioneer being an international culture. That's kind of something that the cities are working on, because if you drive up and down Pioneer, there's a tremendous amount of businesses that are of all kinds of, from all kinds of countries and cultures. And it'd be really cool to be some type of example for how that can exist together.
I honestly think it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, let's start with the name of the street, Pioneer. Right? And how organically we have so many different ethnic groups opening business along the Pioneer. I'm fortunate enough to be, Asia Town Square is fortunate enough to be inside both cities. We see the Grand Prairie, and then we also own a piece of land immediately adjacently west of us is City of Arlington. So we own a piece of land there too.
Are you in Tarrant County?
I am in Tarrant
County. Okay, see, you're right on the line.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm right on the line. And so, I'm fortunate enough to be in both cities. Both cities have great leadership, and I'm also on the international corridor. And so that's a project that I'm very excited to work on.
That's what I'm talking about then, the international corridor. Tell us more about that.
Well, we met a number of years ago. Former Tarrant County Commissioner Andy Wynn and I and a number of other people just say, man, look how beautiful Pioneer Parkway is. Up and down this 5 miles street. Look at all the different ethnic groups here. And so we said, you know what, this should be an international corridor that celebrate diversity.
100%. That is such a cool idea.
Yeah. So of course, Asia Town Square needs to be the gateway to the Far East, right? Where we're gonna have to identify certain pockets, certain area as a focal point. And I'm already doing what I can to make sure Asia Town Square will become a destination.
So that kind of, you talking about you being on that, the committee, and then you talking earlier about getting involved in Grand Prairie. Has civics and being involved in local community, government and being involved in that kind of thing, has that always been important to you?
Absolutely. Like I said, when I came to America and looking back, I'm just very blessed. Aunt Bonnie gave me an opportunity to achieve the American dream. And I just want to do my part to give back to the community. And, it makes it so much easier in Grand Prairie, to be honest with you, because you have great leadership and you have great people. I think me being part of the Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce, I was a chairman 1 year, and just to build that friendship with so many different people and to see how the government works, it's really, I'm telling you, I've never been in a city where truly I felt like it is a partnership.
I agree. I think that Grand Prairie is very unique in a lot of ways in that aspect. I've been a part of, for other businesses that I've worked for, I've been a part of other chambers. And there's a different feel to the one that we have here.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean other chambers are doing bad.
No.
Absolutely not. No. They are great at doing what they do. Grand Prairie, the chamber, the police departments is phenomenal. I think we have the best police department in the entire nation.
I agree 100%.
And it's just we're very unique. We're Grand Prairie unique.
Yeah, I think so too. And on my list of people to ask if that person is listening is I'm going to be talking to hopefully somebody that the officer that does the Citizens on Patrol, and then talking to maybe somebody that's a part of the Citizens on Patrol, because that is something that's very unique.
Right.
And what's interesting is like as a real estate agent, a lot of people don't realize that we even have stuff like that in Grand Prairie. And when I talk about it, and people from other cities, they're like, "You have what? They get cars? What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Is that not how other places?" And so, but the chamber itself, I feel like, is more relaxed, and it's very welcoming. Like they want everybody to be a part, and I think that it's important to become a part of those types of things, even if you're not a business owner. Right. Just to get to know people that are around you. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Right. You're absolutely right as far as welcoming. I think the city of Grand Prairie is very welcoming. I remember, I'll tell you, I still relive that moment every now and then, especially around Lunar New Year. Our beloved Queen of Grand Prairie, Ruthie Jackson, she was on the city council. And so when we had our first event, she came and she gave me the warmest, biggest hug ever. It's just so welcoming. I felt, like I said, my family, Asia Times Square, we truly feel the love and support from the community, and I just love that. Like I said, we're the big small city. You know what I mean?
100%. So y'all have in this building specifically, one of the talking about the police, y'all have a storefront for the police. What is that?
Yeah, I love the partnership we have with the police. So back then, when Chief Dye first came to Grand Prairie, there was an incident. It made national news at the skating rink, the former skating rink.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
It was a huge deal. It's such a tragedy. The victim, the moms, they were our customer too, and we know of them. So when that happened, Chief Dye at that time reached out to me, and we started building a great relationship, friendship. And he noticed that there was a lack of Asian representation in the police department. There was none, basically. And so he attended one of first Lunar New Year, had a table, and that's where he met Officer Todd.
Really?
Yes, that's how Officer Todd became a Grand Prairie Police Department.
Wow.
He was ready. He wanted to be a police officer, but he's ready to look into Arlington. But at Asia Times Square, the police had a table recruiting, and he came and talked, and now he's been with the police department for 10 years or so. That is
I don't think people really, and I point this out not to say that other communities don't do a good job, but to say how abnormally unique that is to have that type of attitude, to where you don't have to be told to look for the things that you're missing, like on a police force. You just see it, and you reach out and you go out of your way as the police chief to go, how can we get that? That is the key. It's to be keeping your eyes open in your community about what your needs actually are, and then how can you affect change in a way that is not impositional on other people, but is a partner with other people. So that storefront, like, is there a police presence in there? How does that work?
And so Steve Dye and I was talking and said, hey, it'd be great we can have build that relationship. I think a lot of the Asians are very reserved in general. They don't, when there's a crime, they don't speak out. And it's just that I don't know, is it the language barrier or whatnot? And so Chief Dye said, you know what, let's go ahead and see if we can have a satellite office at Asia Times Square to start building that relationship. And I can't tell you how wonderful that's been, that partnership with Officer Ty and Officer Tran coming here. It just, I love how, and right now with Chief Cessny, how he just, man, he did not miss a beat. Chief Dye, retired. He came in very proactive. Especially with the current rise of anti-Asian behaviors, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's just, we're all Americans. And so he was just being so proactive. He came and talked to our tenants, just make us feel loved and supported and protected. I can't tell you how grateful I am to have that satellite office.
When I drive up to that, and I think to myself, it's not like a, you'll go into some parking lots and you'll see that big tower where there's like a booth, where somebody's sitting, and it's almost like you're being watched. But when I drive up and I see a police, presence as a storefront, and that immediately says to me, this is a friendly relationship. And how cool would that be if there was that in so many different places?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, really cool.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
It means so much. And I think we're probably the only Asian facility that actually have a police storefront.
You might be the only facility, period. I don't know that I've ever seen somebody do that before.
Like said, we are just living in a very awesome city. And we have all this relationship. And the fire department, Chief Fire has done a wonderful thing. We just really all blessed to be in Grand Prairie. Of course, no city's perfect. No one is. No. What? But we're pretty damn close.
Yes. No, that's okay. No, you're fine. So how many businesses do y'all have in here?
I would say we probably have about 60 plus different businesses here.
And so that new facility you're going to build is going to even bring more.
Yeah, add more.
So how many of them are retail and how many of them are restaurants, like percentage-wise?
Let me see here. I would say, man, that's a good question. I should know this, right? It's my property. I would say maybe 25% is restaurant, and the rest are other retails. Of course, we have a huge warehouse for the grocery store. Yeah.
So, but inside of here, you have mortgage lenders, you have insurance providers, you have retail shops. It really is, and I love this because in the real estate business, this is becoming very valuable to have mixed-use property that's kind of where people can go to get a bunch of different things. I mean, you've got a grocery store too.
Yes.
So do you find that you get a lot of crossover business from people that come in?
Absolutely, and you know what? We design our building with a purpose, actually. So if you're from the outside looking at the two buildings, you can see the two buildings has a different design. And you just by looking at that, you know where our mission statement comes from, right? Preserving tradition. That Hong Kong building over there with the grocery store, that serves its purpose, trying to preserve the traditions, and it's more family, mom and pop store, the grocery store, not so much professional services. Whereas this building over here, the building we're sitting in, is the promoting culture, right? It's a little bit more modern. It has a modern design with an Asian flair. And we have a lot of professional services in this building. And this is where we have the ballroom where we can promote different ethnic groups as well. So yes, I love mixed use. I think mixed use is the way to go. And just recognizing that we need more density. So our next project, probably starting next year, is to build a multifamily in City of Arlington, which is right next door to us.
Oh my gosh, that's so, I literally I had to take my continuing education classes, and I just learned about density last night in my class. It's so funny. But that's going to be, I think, a very important piece, and as people are not having to commute as much to do work, having things around them really close where they don't have to drive across everywhere to go. But the grocery store being, an Asian grocery store, and we see that with a lot of different ethnicities, right? There was a lady that lived above me, and she was Jewish, and she would go to kosher grocery stores. And I love that we have in this area, that is good, and it's something that people can learn from different cultures about. And I think that that's also unique, just to have a bunch of different places for people to shop. Because that's important.
Absolutely.
There's no way one grocery store could have all of those things and everyone could want.
Yeah, you cannot find, at Kroger or Walmart, you can't find an aisle just of 100 different type of teas or whatever, right? And the fruits, the exotic fruits that we carry, you can't get those. And so, what I love about what our grocery store Hong Kong marketplace has been able to accomplish is that our fastest growing customer base are non-Asian.
I was going to ask you.
Oh man, I just love what we're able to accomplish is this, and then it just speaks volume as to the type of people here in our community who are willing to venture out and try new things and try to learn new things. That's just so cool.
It is. And when I went to go visit a friend of mine that lived in New York, I think that New York City could probably be an example of how that exists, because you'll find a bunch of different types of grocery stores like right next to each other.
Yes.
And there are a lot more New Yorkers. They have an attitude of experimentation, and they want to try new things. And I think in Texas especially, we can become very set in what we like to eat. And it's not colorful food. Right. It's like meat and potatoes. So me as a Texan, it's sometimes interesting to push myself out of my comfort zone.
Well, I'm going to have to definitely invite you to lunch some of this day and have you join our chicken feet club.
I know, we need to talk about that. But yeah, Charles Leckert over at Grand Prairie at a Glance that does all those pages.
Okay.
He's been really, really, I think he's in his 60s.
Okay.
And he has just been really, the last couple of years, just intent on trying a bunch of new restaurants, because there's a ton of places. So when I said that I was going to come talk to you, he goes, I need to go over there and eat. I need to meet Matt. Like, he's just, but, and then Sarah over at the Tourist Center goes, you need to be a part of the exclusive Chicken Feet Club. And I said, what is that? And why am I not a member? So what is that?
We're going to have to take baby step first before you get in. But Chicken Feet is actually one of the most delicious, flavorful delicacy, as I would say, in a Hong Kong style brunch. It's called dim sum, and dim sum has 50, 100 different types of dishes, but one of the more popular dishes is chicken feet. Not everybody eat them, but like I said, though I would say I've introduced chicken feet, like it'll be the first time eating it to a number of people. I would say 50% of them end up liking it a lot.
Do you actually eat the chicken feet? Or is it just made with chicken feet?
No, it's chicken feet. There's not much meat. You're basically eating the skin. And more importantly, you're just going to be enjoying the flavor of the sauce and whatnot. I'll tell you a very funny story. So I have a CPA that I work with for decades and decades. He has since retired and do a lot of missionary work. And when you're talking about meat and potato kind of guy, that's him, right? And so I invited him, once the Pearl opened up, I invited him and his wife to come just to say thank you. Hey, let's enjoy. And I did it purposely because I want to introduce him to chicken feet, see his reaction. He looked at it and he said, I'm going to pass, which is fine. And then his wife ate one dish. She ate it. She said, can I have another? We ended up ordering 4 plates of the chicken feet. She loved it so much. And she said, this is probably one of the most flavorful chicken feet I've ever eaten. And she looked at me and said, Matthew, I was born and raised at a farm. We had pickled chicken feet and whatever you can think of, you could cook with chicken feet. But she loved it. And I've had, one time I had who was he? It was Super Bowl running back for the Indianapolis Colts. Dominic Rhodes.
Oh, okay.
He came and he ate that chicken feet with me as well. And I had, who else? Another Dallas Cowboy player. He retired. Greg Ellis, I think. Mm-hmm. And he came out, introduced him to that. He passed on that, but it was just for fun. I think, for me anyway, I live to eat. I don't eat to live. Mm-hmm. I just love trying new things. As long as you try and taste it and you don't like it, I'm fine with it.
Right.
Hey, there's many things that I've tried that I won't touch again.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I know that, this is just kind of funny. When I go into a restaurant, I think anybody's like this, and you're going into a restaurant that you're not familiar with what anything is, having somebody there that can tell you what to order and how to order it is part of the it takes away the intimidation factor.
Absolutely.
So when I just walk in, I feel silly because I'm like, I don't even know what's good. I don't know. And
Right.
But I think that having somebody introduce that to you is like
walk you through.
Well, it's the same way as somebody coming to Texas and being like, hey, this is what you look for in good barbecue. And this is what you know, and I hate to stereotype Texans that way, but it's the truth. And so
we do have good barbecue.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So if you were to talk to like students or young people about what they could do now to start being more involved in their community and kind of lay a foundation if they do want to be business owners someday, like what advice would you give them?
Well, you know, it's never too young to start whatever. I think right now what I see is that they need to be able to develop people skills. I think where we're heading with all the iPads and iPhones and just staying at home, being on social media, I think that's not a good thing. I think having people interaction is going to be important in the future for them. And then make sure, I think it's also important the parents to get involved with the children. I think a lot of the problem arises from not having the parents around and communicating. And
having us on our phones.
Yeah.
That's another one too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just venture out, be creative, learn. I mean, whatever it is. I told my children, I said, son and my daughter, I said, you know, I don't want you to grow up and then join the family business if that's not what you want. I want you to find what you love doing and be extremely great at it. You know, as far as owning a business, I'm telling you, I love being a business owner because I work hard, but then I can set my own schedule. I love the ability of attending my daughter's volleyball game if and when I want. I try not to miss any of my children's extra activities, swims, meet, volleyball, basketball, what have you. I just love that, but it comes at a price, meaning you have to work hard when, you know.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And I think that you're absolutely right. And one of the things and that's why this is one of the reasons I even started the podcast is to get people to understand who the people are that are around them. Because online communities are fine in a pinch if you need to, but really it's about coming in to a building, meeting somebody new, seeing their face, bouncing ideas off of them, and the more local I feel like we can get, the better. And I think, you know, you kind of touched on some of the things going on nationally. It can become very overwhelming when you see things that are happening in other communities to feel like that's happening in your own community. And when you have no connection to your local community to know, no, this is not a problem here. We're going to make our local community the best that it can possibly be. I think that is just, I feel like that is a focus we all need to have. Getting out and getting to know people that live around us, because our neighbors, you know, you can have a group of friends at church or whatever. Those are going to be a lot of like-minded people, but your neighbors are not always going to be like-minded. They're going to be different, and they're important. That's important. Having those different types of, you know, backgrounds and people from all kinds of places only serves to make us all better. But I think that the more that we can get local, the more we can also feel like we have more control over affecting change. I can't do anything about what's happening in Washington State, but I can do something about what's happening in my neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I mentioned to you that I don't live in Grand Prairie, and you know, my children go to CFB ISD. I was very disappointed with. I don't know if you read the article about the 6th grade teachers giving out a quiz.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Right?
Yes.
I cannot fathom the idea of 3 adult teachers coming up, collaborating, and come up with that kind of 6 multiple choice for a social study. And I don't want to go into it.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to, they can Google it. They'll find out what the question and the multiple choices are. But I love Grand Prairie, and so when I found that out, you know, I did reach out to GPISD Board of Trustees and Superintendent Ellis, just kind of share and say, hey, this is what's going on. Let's be proactive. let's learn from other people's mistakes.
Oh my gosh, that is so important. I wish you could, that is, if there's anything that and that's one of the reasons for this podcast actually, is learning from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
How is somebody else doing this, and where did they go wrong, so that we can not go down that same, and hit that same pothole. And, but another thing is making sure that people know what we're doing right, because, Grand Prairie Police Department is a great example of a good example. And you're right, not every community is perfect, but there's things that we're doing that I wish that other communities would do that would help a lot of the issues. Right. And it gives me a lot of peace being a citizen here to see that we value those types of partnerships, and that makes me, it makes me glad that I'm bringing up a child in this community. Sure. And that we have those relationships with the superintendent, that we can say, here's something I noticed, and they're not going to go, no, we don't want to hear you. Right. They're going to go, no, okay, let's take that into consideration.
Absolutely. I think I think politics, the bigger the city, the more political it becomes, the harder it is to work together. And I think Grand Prairie is just it has the right size, the right people. It's just great. Yeah,
and I'm just so glad to that what you're doing, and I look forward to more things and coming here and being a part of that. Have you had any? Have you had a lot of different ethnic celebrations here yet?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Like what?
One of the best events that I've hosted was the Taste of Nigeria.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they had the event here maybe 3 years now. I love that.
Yes.
I mean, here you have in Grand Prairie an Asian facility hosting a Taste of Nigeria.
That's amazing.
That's inclusivity, by the way.
That absolutely, 100%. And there's actually several Nigerian restaurants within this area, like very, very close by. But that's the kind of thing that we need to highlight, because that's really cool. Yeah. And we can all learn from what other people, it's always fascinating to me, like, what can I learn that you did right so that I could do that right, And so I think that that's just so very important. But
our next event is this May, and May is Asian Heritage Month.
Okay.
And so we've just thought, of all years, this is the best year. The time is just right to celebrate diversity, to celebrate inclusivity, and we're partnering with a group called Nesian.
Nesian.
Yeah, Nesian is Micronesian, Polynesian, Pacific Islander. So May 22nd, 23rd will be our first Nesian Festival at Asia Town Square. We're bringing in hula dancers, fire dancers, a lot of Hawaiian, Polynesian performers, and food. That's going to be another great event here.
So if you can't go to Hawaii this year for vacation, come here, because you can at least experience that. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. Yes.
It was a joy talking to you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.